Hi everybody! Today we're going to see how I draw Plastic Patroller. Okay, so pencils first and then I'll switch over to Sharpies. So bear with me while I do a sketch and then we'll move over to Sharpies. The timeline will be in the description and you can find out when exactly to jump to Sharpie if you don't want to watch me do the pencil sketch. So I'm going to start off with a simple sketch for myself, and then I'll do the Sharpies. So again, just bear with me. And hopefully you're with me because you need to be learning how to do this, you know? This is all about drawing, and though I'm not going to be teaching you how, you need to be practicing drawing yourself. Well, not drawing yourself, but drawing sketches, you know? Everybody does. That's how I get the way I am, and this is how I draw, and you got to figure out how you're going to draw. It's easy to draw the Sharpies, the sketches like I'm doing, but you're going to get much better if you learn to do it yourself. That's how I got this way. So we're just going to keep going here, move forward, and see where this takes me. And I wish I could remember the name of this skin, the original one, you know, because it's all. That's the nice thing about this is it's already been made, you know. So all we got to do is redraw this skin, and but I don't know if I've done it before. I probably haven't. So let's see. I think I'm happy with the face. I'm going to try to draw him like a yelling charge pose. You know, the charge. You know, military thing. You know, that's kind of what I'm going for. And also, now that I think about it too, if you're going to follow along with Sharpie, if you want to switch to a different colored Sharpie, now's the time to do it, or get ready, because I think what I'm going to do when I finally do get to color it is I'm going to color, like I'm going to draw with black Sharpie, but I'm going to end up coloring the black to green or gray, whichever I decide to use. Kind of like the skin, how it's all gray or all green, and that way it'll look like the skin, you know. So if you have a different colored Sharpie, like a gray or green, grab it, because it's going to look much better when it switches over, and that's also why I'm going to switch it over, because it looks good. It looks good. Alright, so here I got to figure out how to draw, and this is where sketching comes into play, is you got to figure out how to draw things a certain way, because also here's the other thing, this doesn't exist in this pose. I'm not looking at a picture of the plastic patroller in this pose. I'm making it up as I go, and so that's why sketching helps. I just gave him 6 fingers, because you can figure out how you want to do it, and oops, it still has 6 fingers, and pose them how you want. That's how all these characters are, actually. I'm just posing it how I think I want to pose it, and using the look and the style of the skin, and redrawing it in my style, you know, like that. Alright, so I think I'm happy with that top part, so let me just sketch the bottom here real fast. And I think what I'm going to do is, no, I'm going to bring his leg a little bit lower. I think what I'm going to do is add like the plastic little, I was about to say Stormtrooper. I have Star Wars on the brain right now. the little plastic bottom part to his feet. Because do you guys have army men? Do you know what this is based on? You know, the little plastic army men? I grew up with them, and I'm sure you still have them now. I just don't know if they're available, like when I was a kid. But yeah, it's based on the old plastic army men look. So I'm gonna draw like the base here, and make it stuck to his feet. So on this leg, I'm gonna have his foot kind of bent like this, and you can see the top of his foot. So that means the little plastic part is gonna kind of come up like this. You know what I mean? Here it's flat, there it's going to be like one leg's going to be like that, the other one is going to be like this with the toes bent a little. So that plastic part's going to bend a little, so you're going to see it a little bit. So I'm just kind of, you know, giving it a fun little look to it. Okay, I think I'm ready. I think that's enough of a sketch. I think I got everything on there that I wanted to remember. It might be too much of a sketch, but I don't think so. And what I mean by that is I want just the ink to stand out, not the pencils. So hopefully I didn't draw too much on here. I tell you what, here's what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit it lightly with my eraser just to kind of hide some of those lines, but I know where the sketch is. You know, I know what I did, and it's going to be there like a ghost, because I'm making my own ghost with a special computer. That's a joke for a couple of special little boys in my life, so hopefully you guys will get a giggle out of that. So anyway, here are the Sharpies. It's time to switch over to Sharpie. I'm going to use a Sharpie fine point and a Sharpie pen. Sharpie pen is a little finer than the fine point, go figure, but it helps me control the weight of the lines much better than this one. So I'm going to start for the small details like the face. Okay, so here I'm going to draw the eyes first and build out, and normally you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to sketch everything, and since I did, I can pick my best part, which is going to be the eyes. Well, not the best part, but I'm going to pick the part that's going to guide the rest of it, so I'll know whether this works or not. So I'm doing the top eyelids, and I like doing that so I know whether I've got them wonky or straight, and it tells me whether I'm going to continue like this or not, because if it's not working, I don't want to go forward. Okay, so I'm going to draw the eyelids and then some pupils like that. And so now I'm going to come in and I'm going to try to draw the rest of the eye, but just not all the way in, kind of like that. See, because this paper bleeds just a little bit, so I don't want to go too crazy and give it too much lines. You know, I know that's kind of hard to understand, but I'd show you, but I don't want to bleed on it. Anyway, let's just keep moving forward. So now that I've got that done, I'm going to draw him some eyebrows, and I'm going to have kind of an angry brow. You know what I mean? Like that. There you go. Not so much angry, but one's kind of raised eyebrow, cocked eyebrow is what it's called. Okay, so now I'm going to give him just a little bit of a bridge of a nose, like that, and then I'm going to draw his nostrils like this, and let's see if I can draw some of that bulbous part of the nose. That's all I really want to do, because I don't want to go too crazy and draw too many lines. There you go. That'll work. So again, this will bleed too much, so I don't want to go crazy here. And as I tell you that, I'm starting to do more. I need to stop. So let's give him a yelling mouth. So I'm gonna have it kind of up like that. Alright, let's go ahead and just close it out like that. That way you can see his teeth like he's yelling. Does that make sense? Alright. Okay, so his jaw, I'm going to draw his chin right underneath like that. And he's got a strong jawline, which pretty much comes to the edge of his face. And that's not exactly how people are, but this helps represent the drawing is basically what I'm doing. Oh, you know what? I'm going to give him little pupils like that. Just a little bit. There we go. That'll make it come alive. So I'm going to come straight across like this. very straight edge with the man because it's very, again, very rugged, very manly, very straight jawline, you know. And again, that's not representing real world. Like if you don't have a jawline, I know I don't have a jawline like this, but it helps represent the rugged manliness of an army man, you know. That's what we're going for, representation, or tricking the eye to make it look like this. Like I said, that's a bad idea saying representation because that's not what, it doesn't represent all of us, you know. It's body image, you know, it doesn't represent everybody. So, okay, so anyway, enough with the lesson. I'm gonna keep going. Oh no, this is a lesson, right? I should be teaching you stuff. Maybe I'm just not the right teacher. I'm just a teacher, you know? So, oh, I'm not even a teacher. Anyway, I'm gonna draw the face like this, you know, follow the edges of the sides, and give him some ears. Woof, my Sharpies. I need to get new ones. Alright, give him some ears. Do both sides, that way we know where we are. We're not doing one too low and one too high. It happens. Alright. Okay, and so also what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to thicken up these edges just a little bit, because when I switch over to the big Sharpie, you're going to see a big, huge difference in thickness. So I'm going to remember, I'm going to do some of the neck right here too while I'm remembering that. See how thin that is? A is because these Sharpies are horrible and need to switch to another one, but I'm trying to finish this up. But you'll see the thickness in a second. Okay, so I'm going to draw the helmet. Let's see if I can do this in one. Oh, you know what? He's got little straps that I want to draw with this Sharpie, like that. And I don't mind if these are super thin. I don't have to make them thick because it's a strap and it's not standing out. You know what else isn't standing out? My line, if it's not coming out, Sharpie. Work with me, Sharpie. Work with me. Okay, so now I'm going to draw his helmet, which is pretty much a dome. You know, it's an army helmet. So I'm going to try to remember where it is. I'm going like this, basically, but not drawing over his face. So let's see. Let me do something like this. And like that. And see, it's not perfect. This is more round than this, but that's okay. This is how I draw. You draw how you draw, and we'll meet somewhere in between, okay? So now I'm going to thicken those lines up just a hair, because this one came out super thin, and that came out a little too thick, but that's okay. I can make it work if I can get these Sharpies to work. Alright, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing ever is, but I'm just trying to make myself happy is what I'm trying to do. Oof, okay, I think I've had enough with this one. I'm going to try another one. See if I can get this to work. Alright. Here we go. That's working much better. Alright, so now let's finish off the lines that disappeared up here. I'm going to draw his head like that. I'm sure he's got hair, so we're going to do something like this, just to give him the edge of a head. And so now, this is not going to be perfect, but I'm going to try to get it as close as I can. So his head's a dome, so I'm going to kind of come out just a little bit for the rim of the army helmet, like that. And then I'm going to go up and down, like a bell, you know? I'm going to go up like this, kind of follow my sketch, and come back down like that. Now see, it didn't hit here, and it looks a little wonky, a little lopsided, but that is okay. I'm just going to thicken this up just a little bit, add a few more extra little edges, just to try to smooth it out just a little bit, and that's okay. That's good. We're done. I'm not going to obsess over that. It's perfect for me. So now I'm switching over to the big fine point Sharpie. Gonna see how this comes out, and draw his little kerchief here. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to close off his neck like this, and see how thick that is versus those. That's why I was trying to get this a little thicker to match up. You know. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna come down here and do this, and I'm gonna play around with like the stair step look to the kerchief here. That. Like this, okay? And just draw a couple extra lines. Let's see if I can bring this back and draw some thin lines of thick versus thin, like I was telling you before. something like that. Oops, this might not be the right Sharpie. I need to get rid of that one. Okay. Oop, maybe they're both going. Okay. So, something like that. So you're just having a little fun with it. And it's a bandana, so I like having a little fun with the thick and thin lines showing contrast. Alright, set this one aside because I know that's the good one. Okay, so let's keep going here. And so I'm going to draw his shoulders to his body here, and this shoulder is up a little bit, so I kind of have it up like that. Connect that there. Then I'm going to bring his sleeve down over here. It's sleeveless, so just the edge of it. And oh, you know what? Before I do that, I know from my sketch that his body is right here, so I'm going to draw his belt like this. Bring it under, over, and over like this, and then I'm going to reconnect it. And the only reason I did that is because I want the belt out just a little bit like this, so it's over his shirt. And so I know it looks like it's floating, but because of my sketch, which is why you do this stuff ahead of time, I knew where it was going to go. So it was okay to just float something, okay? So now I'm going to do his other sleeve like this, the back of his body to his belt. And let's go ahead and draw his belt. This, and it's the old classic, what do you call it? The body, the old style body that's got the two belts. Like a long time ago when they first made these, they did them with two belts. And so, you know, hang on. And so it's funny that you can tell they're reusing one of the old skins when it has the two belts. So I'm going to draw his dog tags real fast. I forgot they were hanging down. Something like that, just one over the other. There we go. And he does have a pocket here, so I'm going to go ahead and draw that in with this little Sharpie, just so it doesn't stand out too much, but it is there, you know? Okay, and so, oh, you know what, and he's got straps. Everybody has the backpack straps, so we'll just kind of do that to represent that, okay? So let's draw this arm here. So I've got this one up in like a let's charge pose. So this one's pointing, this one's in a fist. So I want to draw this part first, floating, and then I'll draw the muscles behind. But again, my sketch tells me where I'm going to go. So I'm going to draw his knuckles like this, bring the back of his hand down like this to his glove, and like that. Now see, what I did here was, because we're drawing the back of the hand, that's all that's necessary. We kind of got away with a little bit more because we're drawing the back of his hand. And he's got a little bit of detail, so we'll go ahead and do that. Something like that for the back of his glove. And it is a glove, so I got to draw his little cuff that's on it. And now I can draw the rest of his arm. So I'm just going to draw anatomy here. So I'm just going to come down and stop right there because I don't want to draw the whole thing. And then draw the other side of his forearm to his elbow. So now I'm going to draw this underarm to his waist. And so I can draw his bicep like this to his shoulder like that. All right? And we'll go ahead and draw, let's see, the bicep is going to come in like that, just a little bit. I got a little crazy with the lines, but oh well, that's okay. Then we'll draw that little part of the bicep. Maybe we'll bring that to more of a point like that. Good. All right, so let's draw the other arm. And again, that one's up and pointing, so his bicep is right here, so it's going to come up like this. That's this part. And then I'm going to draw the top of his arm to his, his shoulder to his bicep, to his, the crook of his arm, his elbow, the top of his elbow. So that means his other part of his elbow is right there. So the back of his arm to his chest like that. All right, and so he's got the big communicator wrist glove thing. So I'm going to draw an edge here. That means I can draw his forearm like this to his elbow, forearm down to the crook of his arm like that, and then draw the little wrist communicator thing. And the reason I say that is because they all have these things on their wrist that they never use though, right? You know, it's crazy. It's the design, you know, so it's cool, but they never use that stuff. So I don't know, it's crazy. Okay, so let's draw his hand here. So basically his hand is doing this. It's kind of pointing, like let's charge. So what I'm going to do here is draw the top of his thumb. And I'm going to bring it down because it's over everything, like this. And so now, before I start drawing all the rest of the meat of his hand, I'm going to draw the fingers. So this thumb is kind of over this finger. Let's draw that in a little bit so you can tell it's a thumb. That kind of fell apart on me. This finger's like that, and it's kind of like this. So that gives us edges like that. And then this finger is here like this. And then the pinky is like that, okay? So that means the pointer finger is pretty much like this. And that's all you gotta do. So now we just gotta bring the rest of the hand in like that. And I like to draw, here, let's draw like knuckles kind of separated like that. I'm gonna round that off. So I like to draw lines like this, kind of showing that, yeah, it's a glove and there are creases to it. So there, that gives us the all this stuff. You know, we don't have to draw every single line, just enough to give that impression, right? All right, so let's keep going. Oops, that was a mistake. Oh well, things happen. What are you gonna do? So I'm gonna keep going, and let's see. So I'm gonna draw his belts. So his first one has got that weird wonky little look to it like that, and it's got the loops like this. I'm just drawing in before I forget. Then I can connect them down at the bottom like this. And then it's got the next belt, which is pretty much just a regular belt like that. I'll draw like the little clasps like that, just to give it some and now there you go. Let's do the other loops real super thin like that, just to look different from that top belt, you know? All right, good enough there. Forget about that. Okay, so he's got the little hip pack that's connected to this belt. So let's draw that real fast. There's the flap that covers it. It's gonna go behind his leg, so I'll stop right there. So that means I can draw his pants like this, and it's gonna go right there, because that's where the crook of his, or the crook, the bend of his knee is gonna be. This is the crook, I believe. The bend of his knee, and then that's where the knee shin guard is gonna be. So before I get there, I'm going to draw some more legs and get over here. So I'm going to draw the little pack that's on this leg, pouch, whatever you want to call it. That'll give me edges to go by here. I'm going to follow my sketch and bring it down here. That means I can draw the rest of his leg. And there, again, I'm stopping right there because that's where it's going to go into his knee protector. Here, I'll go ahead and draw it. That way you know where we are. Okay? Down to this, that, down to this, and we'll just close it off like that. So now that gives me edges I can work with. Do some stuff like that, and I'm going to bring his pants out because they're super flared down there too. So I'm going to bring it up to here to his crotch. That means I can draw the back of his pants over here now, like that. And I'm going to draw some more lines. I just wanted to get to this real fast. And so the legs, or the on his shin protectors, this one is strapped in. So it's got a strap holding it on in two places. And again, I'm floating it because I know where my sketch is. So I'm going to draw his pants like that, into his belt. And so now I can draw the protector like this, and bring it in, and go underneath those like that. So see, it's giving me all kinds of edges to work with now. So before I go forward, I'm going to draw some more creases and folds just because I can, you know. This is our design. This is how I draw. You can draw how you draw. But because he's got, this is material, you know, and material bends and folds, and that's kind of the fun thing about drawing clothes, is that you can draw bend lines, you know, creases, folds and stuff like that, just to show that it's moving. It's got movement. All right. Let's do something real quick. Let's just draw a little edge like that all the way across. And there are other lines like this, but I'm going to let color take care of that. I'm not going to go crazy with that like this. Let's go ahead and finish his legs. So basically, I just got to draw his boots and his shin protectors, or his lace protectors. So I'm going to draw those first. And when I say lace protectors, they're just these little like armor things over his feet. I don't know why, but they're there. Like that. Okay, and so now I can draw the rest of his boots. So I'm going to draw the front of it like that. And I'll go ahead and do the bottom since I'm here. And like this. And there's his heel. I couldn't think of the word. And his boot is coming in like that. Okay, so here you can't really see much because it's covered up. So I can do this. Draw the front of his toe like that. And then the side of his shoes like this. And I want to draw the tread and then the plastic part. All right, so I'm going to draw just some simple stair-stepping tread like that, like this. Same thing here. I'm just going to draw some stair-stepping tread like this. And so now I'm going to draw that plastic part. So I'm just going to basically make it like this and straight across like that. Okay, so since that is there, this back part is bent up like that. So I'm going to come straight across here like this. I'm going to bend it up and back like that. So see what I mean? How it's kind of up because his heel is up? That was the whole idea. That's what I was going for. So let me draw a few more creases real fast in his heel like this, just to show that, you know, again, he's got folds in his pants or in his boot, like that, and that'll be it. So sorry about that, but we'll take care of the rest with color. So that is Plastic Patroller. So here is my colored version. You could do it however you like. I just thought I'd show you how I decided to color it. If you'd like to color it like this, you can always pause the video here and use the coloring techniques that I used, or you can just make it your own. Remember, this is how I draw. You draw how you draw. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more adventures of how I draw. Plus, don't forget to hit that notification button to be updated about each new video.